His critics, I imagine, will try and challenge some of those moves that he plans to introduce in short order.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing some groups suing over, for example, Doge, which is being led by Elon Musk, saying it really doesn't work with the transparency laws on the books. You have civil rights groups already saying they're going to challenge him on many of the immigration executive orders he plans to put forward. So we will see just how much Donald Trump can get through, how much he's able to push the power of the presidency without being checked.
For God's sake.
But for his critics, I mean, there was plenty here to also look at, whether it be him declaring America would be on Mars or changing the Gulf of Mexico's name to Gulf of America. Plenty there that had Democrats scratching their heads.
Neda Tawfik, thank you very much. Inside the U.S. Capitol, there is the Capital One Arena, which is in another part of Washington, D.C., where crowds have gathered hoping to catch a glimpse of President Trump. He's expected to address those crowds of the regular people who would have been in front of the steps of the Capitol had the weather not been so cold. Let me turn to Republican supporter Eric Bolling. He is a two-time New York Times best-selling author, longtime friend of Donald Trump, also the host of a new politics-based talk show called Bolling. You're very welcome to the program. How are you finding today? What struck you in that inaugural address?
Well, I appreciate being on with you, BBC. It was a fantastic speech. I will tell you that in a very short period of time, in a matter of minutes, it is perceived that we've gone in America from likely the worst president in our very short 245-year history to the best. And may I just explain, that's less partisan than it may sound. Donald Trump had a mandate. He has a mandate by the American voters with a massive win in November. All 7 swing states, which typically decide elections, went for Donald Trump. Donald Trump got the very, very difficult popular vote, being that there are 3 or 4 more million registered Democrats than Republicans in America. So he's done the things that it takes for him to be given this mandate to do what he wants to do with the country. And your reporter outlined very well some of the most important things. First thing that he said he was going to do is fix the border situation. He's been promising to do that since he was elected president in 2016. He's been talking about that for the better part of the last 2 years running for president. This time, energy was going to be top of his list. That was second. And the cultural war that's going on in America, that so many independent voters, not Republican, Democrat, so many independent voters felt was proceeding too quickly, too rapidly. He said he will fix that. Yeah.
Forgive me, Eric, for stepping on you. We have limited time. There was cheers when it came to some of those issues of gender and free speech as Donald Trump characterized them. But are you not concerned that there will be a risk of a logjam of bureaucracy as legal challenges come up against every step that Donald Trump wants to make, even though he has outlined them in this speech?
That could happen, but it won't happen for 2 years because Donald Trump has the Senate and the House of Representatives on his side.
With the House by a slim majority.
Correct, but nonetheless, they have the vote, and they have the vote in the Senate as well. So a lot of the policy, I think Donald Trump made the mistake the first time of waiting too long to push some of his policy initiatives through. In his first presidency, he knows the ropes now. Remember, he was a businessman the first time. He's a seasoned politician right now, and he will likely push most of his policy initiatives through in the first 2 years. And you have to look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden went around Congress. He went around the Supreme Court to do a lot of things. So Biden actually set the precedent for Donald Trump to get much of his agenda through in a very rapid period of time.
You talk about Donald Trump there being a seasoned politician. That is true. He's coming for his second term as president. But surely he is no longer the outsider. Why do you think his base is so fervent for him when he was always meant to be lauded as not being a politician?
Right, exactly. The first time around, he was not a politician. I will tell you, he's still a disruptor. And American people generally dislike what happened over the last 4 years. We had high prices. Inflation was through the roof. Cultural swing between DEI and some of the, the gender
DEI, diversity,
issues.
Equality and inclusion.
Equity, inclusion.
Policies that we're in.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, Eric.
A lot of Americans feel that that pendulum had swung too far left too quickly, and that they needed a course correction. And who better to do it than Donald Trump, the disruptor?
In our last minute, Eric, do you not think, though, looking at that Russell Rotunda, he was surrounded by the wealthiest men in America, these tech billionaires. Surely that's the opposite of what he was intending to do when he used words like drain the swamp. That was the elite in that room. 20 seconds.
So I'm going to give the BBC a little inside baseball here that probably a lot of people even in America don't realize. There's a group, the original gangster MAGA crew who got Donald Trump elected the first time, who are a little upset with the closeness of the tech world that's getting so close to Donald Trump, some of whom actually banned him from their social media platforms and spoke very poorly of Donald Trump the first time around. There's a bit
and
of
I have to leave it there, Eric,
distrust.
but we get your point.
Sure.
That is a point of contention. Eric Bolling, he has the Political Base talk show. Bolling, thanks so much for joining us. You are listening to NewsHour, coming to you live from Washington, D.C.
If you would let the man talk, you would have been able to say more shit, woman.
You're listening
God.
to NewsHour from the BBC here on 90.7 WFAE and WFAE.org. Texas lawmakers plan on picking up an idea passed in Louisiana last year and now held up in court, requiring the 10 Commandments be posted in public schools. That story and much more this afternoon on All Things Considered, beginning at 4 o'clock.
I'm Steve Harrison, WFAE's politics reporter. From the Government Center in Uptown to the State House in Raleigh, the decision.
All right, I'm bringing this shit in.
Want me to help you?
You can.
Wow, wow, wow. Who says that?
My most beloved son. Joe Biden is gone.
I know.
Give me a hug for that. Biden is gone. I love you, son.
Love you too, Daddy.
Okay, hold on. I want you to take this beer.
Okay.
This is going
Those 4 years of Biden were so rough, my lap needed a massage.
Yeah. Here, put your hand through there. All right.
Right, Daddy?
Yeah. That's funny.
Yep. Oh, they had balloons, and I was looking for the big, like, round spherical ones so I could be like, oh, look, peaches.
All right, let's go.
You know the balloons I'm talking about?
No.
There's these big, round, spherical ones, like... Not the bag-shaped ones.
I don't know, maybe they were celebrating something. Who knows?
Who knows? I think they sell them. They were by the flower section.
Okay.
Valentine's Day. Wow, wow, wow. Who says that?
I got lunch and breakfast for mine.
Sanctus.